Welcome to another What I Eat in a Week dinners edition, but this one is a little different because I'm trying to eat down my freezer. I'm working on it. Since I discovered Costco, the freezer has been very active. So I'm hoping that at least one element of my dinners throughout the week will be from the freezer. That way I can start to really just like work it down. My idea is to fill it back up with things that I mostly make myself, because really, if you go through the store and you see things in the frozen section that you like, you can make those things probably healthier, less ingredients, cheaper, and the way that you like them. So that's my goal. If I have any recipes that I use or get inspiration from, I'll link them down below in the description. So just kind of sit back. I hope you have fun and I hope you get some inspiration because I love these kinds of videos. So let's get going. Tonight I want some comfort food. I feel as though my body is craving it. So I'm going to make my mom's tomato chicken. It's so easy and simple and cheap. You need some time to make it, but that's pretty much the only downside. You need like a few hours. Small price to pay. I don't know where she found this recipe, or maybe she made it up, I'm not sure, but I'll write the directions and the ingredients down in the description. I'm making a dent in my freezer with this one because I took chicken out and I feel like I want a lot of broccoli. I'm gonna rummage in that bag of frozen broccoli in there. So far so good with the freezer. My oven is preheating to 375 Fahrenheit and we can get started. Bless you. I have a baking dish here and I've just given it a little bit of a spray with some nonstick spray. To the bottom, I am putting my chicken. I'm using boneless, skinless chicken thighs because they are the most delicious. Over the top of this, I'm just gonna throw on a can of diced tomatoes. These are basil, garlic, and oregano themed, but I also really like the fire roasted ones, juice and all. Make sure everything is covered. Where I differ from my mom with this part of the recipe is the topping. She likes to put a packet of the like dried French onion soup mix, just sprinkle it right on, easy, but I do not like the way that those spices really taste with this, so I skip that and oven's ready. And I just put on some granulated garlic and some of the dehydrated onion flakes. Very similar to that packet of dried onion mix, but it doesn't have the beefy flavor with it, which I think might be why I don't love it. And I'm also gonna sprinkle on some chicken bouillon powder. And that is it. I'm going to cover this with its little hat. Or if you are using like a baking dish or something like that, and you don't have a cover that goes in the oven, just cover it tightly with some tin foil. So this is going into my oven for like 2.5 to 3 hours. I only have 2 pieces of chicken in here, so I'm gonna say probably closer to 2.5, but use your judgment. The chicken should now be so tender. Time to dig into this thing. It just falls apart. That chicken is donezo. And I ended up just making up some of that frozen broccoli. I didn't make any sort of rice or starch or anything. I just didn't want to deal with it. We're doing some veggies tonight. And all I did in here was just some butter, salt, pepper, and lemon juice. And there's dinner. It's not like the most beautiful dinner, but I'm telling you, it is so delicious and comforting and perfection. It's so good. Chicken is still really moist because it's thigh, and the broccoli is perfect. Frozen vegetables, I'm telling you, are like, people do not deal with frozen vegetables enough. They're sometimes better than the fresh because they are frozen at their peak freshness. And sometimes you can't get really good quality vegetables at the store. And they're so good. Bonus freezer recipe. I had a bag of rotisserie chicken that I had stashed away in the freezer. So I decided to make some chicken salad for the week, just for some lunches. So another thing out of my freezer. All my chicken salad is the rotisserie chicken, salt, pepper, Granny Smith apple, dried cranberries, celery, mayo. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Tonight I'm feeling like I want pasta. So I think I'm gonna make some sort of concoction on the stove, like a saucy kind of element. I'm not sure. From the freezer today, I pulled some chicken, just some boneless, skinless thighs. My tortellini I'm going with today, and my prepped garlic, which is something I'm so proud of. I went and I bought like a 3-pound bag of garlic, and they were all full bulbs. I peeled every single clove by hand, blitzed it up, threw it in a bag, evened it out, and I used chopsticks to kind of like press the indents in there. Throw in the freezer. Now I did all the work. Well, this will probably last me like a month, if that, but it's worth it. And then just for regular old other ingredients, I'm gonna be using some asparagus to get some greens in there. I think artichokes, these are so good. They are marinated and pickly. Some lemon, Parmesan, maybe a little bit of bone broth. I'm pretty much just finding whatever I can in my pantry, in my fridge, in the freezer, and throwing it together. I love these kinds of dinners. A little bit of olive oil in the pan, medium low-ish heat. Gonna start my sauce off while everything else is cooking. Asparagus. Throw in my artichokes, my garlic, and then goes my chicken. Yes, I know I could have just cooked it in the pan, but it always makes such a mess when I cook it stovetop. So my preferred method is almost like a reverse searing method, because I really like when it gets crunchy. So I cook it through in the oven, and then I throw it into a hot pan on each side for a couple seconds to get the outside nice and seared. Works like a charm. Some light on for you. I'm just gonna let this cook up a little bit, let those chicken pieces get a little bit brown, a little bit crunchy, and then I'm going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of bone broth, which will also thicken up. It'll get kind of saucy, and then I'm gonna throw my tortellini in here when it's all done. I also want to add some lemon zest in here. Parmesan cheese. I like to grate this myself from the block and just keep it in the fridge, so that way it is freshly grated and not the stuff that's in the package. It melts way better and it tastes way better. I realize this doesn't look extremely appetizing, but I know it's gonna taste good. I wish I had more asparagus in there, but there's dinner. That is so good. The asparagus really brightens it up a lot with that lemon. Artichokes give such a good like pickly flavor. Oh, and I love tortellini so much. This is a good dinner. I'll see you tomorrow. Tonight I want noodles. I know I had tortellini last night, but I want like noodles. And so I'm thinking maybe like a beef chow mein, lo mein situation. So I went shopping in the freezer. I took out some ground beef, and I found these noodles that I bought, and they are Oriental lo mein noodles. I got these at my local Asian grocery store, and they just look perfect for the job. So also from the freezer, I'm going to be using some more of my garlic pucks. And I also grabbed some ginger. I do the same thing with ginger as I do for my garlic. I buy like a huge thing of it at Costco, peel it, process it into these little slats. That way, if I want to use it like this, I can. But most of the time, I usually end up putting them in like matchsticks and then dicing them up. So that's what I'm gonna do with these. And I think that's it for freezer things. And then I rummaged through the fridge because I want veggies in here. So I had some cabbage left over, an onion, and some carrots. And then I'm gonna make a sauce. So probably soy sauce based. I'll probably throw in some brown sugar, sesame oil, maybe some rice vinegar, hoisin sauce. I'm kind of just making this up as I go, so I don't have a recipe. And that sauce I might make into more of a silky sauce, so I might end up putting like a slurry in there. Not sure, but we've got some sauteing and cooking to do, so let's go. Got a pan here, medium heat. First, my carrots, onions. Oh, I've got some more. It was a big onion. But I added onions, and they cook down to nothing, so more the merrier. And to get a little bit more of the party going is the Kaidong 4-season scallion sauce. This oil is so good. I think it would make a really nice little addition here, so I'm just gonna add a little bit. Now that these have cooked down just a little bit, I'm gonna add my cabbage. I am such a monster, and I wanted to add my garlic and my ginger before the cabbage, so I'm gonna push it aside a little bit and fry these off just on their own and then incorporate it. Hope for the best, but I should have done that first. Took my veggies out, and now it's time for the beef, so I'm just gonna pop this in here. Just kidding. I did not love the way that smelled, so toss in that idea, and we're just gonna do like a vegetable lo mein noodle dish. I think that's just fine. Time to assemble. Sauce. I did end up putting a little bit of cornstarch in here, so I just want this to boil just for a second before I add the other stuff. Pop in some vegetables and my noodles. I'm gonna turn the heat up on this thing and just give it a few tosses, and we should be good. More vegetables. And that's that. This is done. I am sad that I don't have the beef in here, but what are you gonna do? Now I can plate it up and feast. Looking real good, and lots of veggies. Looks very crunchy, which is really appealing to me right now. So there's dinner. This looks and smells delicious. I cannot wait to eat this. Those noodles, I have to go back to that store and stock up because, oh my goodness, they are perfect lo mein noodles, just like you get like takeout. Veggies are still crunchy, but softer a little bit. The carrots are sweet. Everything is so good. The thing that I'm kind of upset at myself about, I didn't really write anything down. This sauce is really good, but now I feel like I won't be able to recreate it. I'll see you tomorrow. Today, I'm kind of cheating. Technically not. I have so much of that lo mein left that I need to do something with the leftovers. So my freezer contribution tonight is from last night. So leftovers it is. And I have been seeing everywhere these rice paper dumplings. I figured I have spring roll wrappers and I could just like shove some of that lo mein in those wrappers, fry them up and dip them in something. And what a fun little like snacky dinner. I love those kinds of dinners where it's just like picking food. So technically nothing new from the freezer, but I don't want to be wasteful. So let's get to it. Got the goods. I've got a plate of water here to soak them and make them like malleable. I've got a plate here to put my dumplings on after I make them, and I did spray this with a little bit of cooking spray because I am terrified that it's going to stick to the plate and just rip. And I got my 7,000 pounds of lo mein. Everyone I see double wraps them, so I'm gonna do 2 at a time, or maybe I should do 1 and then wrap it and then another one and wrap it in that. I'll try 2 at a time for now and see what happens. Dip them in my water just for a couple seconds. Put a little bit of this concoction right in there. I feel like I want to make them a little longer so that I can dip in some like sauce or something. I don't want to overstuff. I am the queen of overstuffing everything, so I'm going to try to control myself. Sides. Also horrible at wrapping things, but I don't want anything to fall out. Oh no, this is a practice one. I didn't wrap this one very well. I'm just gonna put it on my plate and carry on with the rest of them. This is a pain, let me tell you. But I think the method is better if you do 1 wrap at a time. That's what I did with this one. So that way the first one I can mess up and then the second one I can just kind of contain the mess. And there are my cutie little lo mein dumpling wrapped egg roll kind of thing. I made 4 because your girl's hungry. Now we can get over to the stove. I have a little bit of vegetable oil just heating on like a medium heat. Once this comes up to temperature, I'm gonna plop those in and just fry them until they're crispy. Time to see if this works. I'm not really sure how long to keep these frying on each side, but just keep on checking them. Once they get crispy and hopefully a little golden on the other side, then you can flip. But we're kind of going in blind here and we're figuring this out together. Getting crunchy. They get all sides, so they're gonna be a little rectangular, a little boxy, but they've got personality. We're good, we're crispy on all the sides. I can take them out. Look at these absolute units. A little better look. I just made a little bit of a sauce, some soy sauce with some vinegar. Because they are rice paper, it smells like toasted rice. Look at these things. ASMR. I can't wait any longer, even though it's still so hot. That is so delicious. The wrappers got crispy, but they're still chewy. This is a fun little dinner, and it's a good way to use up leftovers. I'll see you tomorrow. It is Friday. Finally, we have made it, and I do not feel like cooking, so I'm gonna have to look around in the freezer for something pre-made, hopefully, or something that's very easy to just like throw together, but I definitely don't want to stand at the stove and do the cooking. And I haven't decided yet what I want, so I feel as though the winner is the French onion soup. And I think that I'm going to toast up one of these breads as well. These soups are so good. I get them at Costco. What do you know? I have an obsession. Leave me alone. Oven safe dish. This is my little coquette. Gonna spray it. My oven is preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe these do have microwave instructions, but I don't like doing them in the microwave, and they taste just so much better when you throw it in the oven. So this is gonna go into my oven for 40 minutes. This already has the cheese and the bread in it, but because I am the way I am, at the end I like to hit it with a little more cheese. I took some bread out. I'm gonna take one of these slices. This is the garlic parmesan loaf from Costco. I just sliced it up and froze it. Gonna take one out, toss it in the pan, toast it up. Just took this out of the oven. It is so hot. I have to wait till that cools down. And I have my little toasted pieces of bread here. I'm very excited for this dinner. This soup is so good. It's good stuff. Bread is such a good thing to just have in the freezer, especially if it is fresh bread when you get it and it doesn't have like a bunch of junk in it. That goes bad soon. That is dinner for the week. I hope you enjoyed trying to eat through my freezer with me. I hope you found some inspiration for yourself. Also, if you made it this far, congratulations. But what do you like to make for freezer meals? When this stuff is done, I want to replace it with some homemade versions of things. So let me know what kind of freezer meals you like to do, because I need some ideas. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.